right? So many of us have been around it without even noticing. Have dealt with it. We're going through it right now. Let's see if it works.
Other side.
Okay. I'm talking about stress. Stress, we go through it, but we don't really know how to deal with it. And we believe that it's something temporary or that does not happen to us. But stress is always around us, and more now than ever because we're in college. Today, I want to highlight the most important methods for preventing stress. But first, let's talk about stress itself. Stress is a physical response to events that make you feel threatened or causes you to be afraid or upsets your balance. When working properly, it helps you stay focused, energetic, and alert, which is positive stress. As mentioned before, positive stress just helps you out. But this positive stress helps you out in emergency situations as well. Stress can save your life, giving you extra strength to defend yourself, or putting you to slam the brakes on an accident. So every positive stress that you get, it helps you out. The stress is just there, but it's not affecting you right now. But beyond a certain point, stress stops being helpful and it starts damaging, causing you major damage to your health, your mood, your productivity, relationships, and your quality of life. So, in this point, negative stress is just attacking you. Secondly, it is good to know how to diagnose the symptoms. The most dangerous thing about this is that symptoms does not show up, and it's easy and it's easily it can creep on you. So you don't really notice until the symptoms are pretty strong, and you start getting used to it, and it just becomes a familiar thing. So even though you have those symptoms, you just keep thinking that it's something usual. You don't notice how much it's affecting you, even though it has a heavy toll on you. The body reacts by giving you symptoms. It gives you headaches, it gives you memory problems, it gives you poor judgment, you start being anxious, you get moodiness, you get short temper, access with their skin, the muscles, the heart, you get pain in your stomach, in your intestines, and you start procrastinating. That's one of the other symptoms that it gives you. As says right there, stress attacks the symptoms as well, such as the nervous system, the muscular, the respiratory system, and others without even noticing. Now let's talk about some few causes. Okay. Many causes of stress are not good for anyone. Even though we're around them, there are many causes for stress, but these are just a few ones. Being bullied is one of them. Relationship problems, family, work, school, college, children and family, and the way you react towards those situations, which you start being negative about them and don't really start thinking and take a time to be able to be against those problems. However, you can prevent stress by planning ahead, doing some exercise, listening to music, give yourself some massage therapies, drawing, painting, or deciding which task to do first. These are just a few pictures. It shows you what you can do to relax during a stressful day. So in conclusion, stress is something that we are all around it. We are exposed to it every day, but we don't really know how to deal with it. And even more right now, as mentioned before, we're in college and the stress is really high, but we need to prevent stress before it becomes a harmful disease to any of us.
All right, Josh, share your thoughts with us, please.
It was good. I think he opened well and closed it well. The visuals, they were very big and clear. The speech was very organized from start to finish. I think he transitioned well between the points. I'd probably say the only negative was probably a little bit too much reading from the note cards. But overall, great speech.
All right, well, I'm going to disagree with you on a couple of things. I will agree with you on a couple of things, though. I thought that the opening was pretty good. You got a little bit of suspense there. I think it could be a little more polished. You could hold off the reveal of the topic, maybe describe something or an incident or an event, and then do the revelation. I think that would be more intriguing. And at the end, I thought you did have a good exit line, so you finished pretty effectively there. So those things went okay. In the body of the speech, I think, is problematic. Josh thought that you were pretty well organized, and I didn't really get that. I thought that, I picked out a structure during the presentation, but it's not like you helped me get that structure. There's not really a preview of what the structure is going to be. The signposts are mostly dependent upon the visuals to get us to know what particular point you're at in the speech. And so I didn't really think it was the transitions and your own presentation that did that so much as it was that, well, we have a new slide, so there's a new topic. And that's okay, but it's not really being integrated into the speech. It's more like, well, like I said, you're becoming the narrator for the slideshow instead of the speaker that's using the slides to illustrate things that you're talking about. I didn't hear any source citations during the presentation, so you do want to make sure that you are telling us where you got this information. I thought you had a good topic for the audience. Let's face it, the examples that you used being student-based, I think, are pretty effective. That should mean that this audience would care a lot about the subject. But after you do that, there's not really much discussion of, for instance, when you're talking about the different symptoms or causes, there's not really any particular focus on student-related behaviors that would provoke stress or things that might be helpful for students to do. Massage therapy, I'm sure, is great. If you've got a lot of money, you can go out and get a massage, but my guess would be the vast majority of students in here aren't able to drop $50 to $100 for a massage every time they're stressed out. So what could they do? What kinds of things would be effective for them, since that's kind of what your justification was at the beginning, that it's about students. And you could spend some time talking about those sorts of things. Exercising, making sure that you get enough sleep. As a student, what kinds of things can you do? That would be, I think, something that would be helpful. Could you guys, I'm sorry, the laptop is distracting me a little bit. Could you close that? Yes, thank you. Yeah, because when I look up and I see something in front of me, it's like squirrel, Oh, look, it's in front of me. I got to pay attention to it, and so it's just a little distracting. I thought that you did do a little bit more reading than you like. I do think your voice projects well, and you sound like you're in control most of the time. But I think it's the material that's failing you. When you get those lists, for instance, all the visuals. I think you've got good visuals that you have to talk about, but you need to talk a little bit more about them. For example, you had the one with the arrows on it, the causes that you were going back and forth on. You just kind of list them. They're already up there on the list. What is it about those things that causes the stress? Or what is it, in turn, what is the response that addresses that most effectively? There's some vague reference to what's going on the visual, but we don't get any examples. We don't have any piece of testimony that explains what's happening. That just felt really underdeveloped. And so it feels like I've got the skeleton of a speech rather than a complete speech. It needs to be filled in a bit with some details and examples and some more explanation. And you've got time to do that because you basically used only 4.5 minutes, so you've got almost as much time left as you've used in the presentation. So there's lots of time for you to be able to develop the content a lot more. All right. Thank you.